And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, it's Sunday night. You know what that means. Revolution 2022 has come to a conclusion. Tyler, how are you tonight, and did you enjoy the show?
Brad, I am doing great, man. I was hoping you would put in that tagline there. Job well done. I really enjoyed the show. There were kind of some ups and downs for me. I thought it was just going to be all ups based on the first few matches of the card. I was flying pretty high, but there are some questions I have about this show. But overall, it was definitely a win, in my opinion. How are you, and what's your, initial take on Revolution?
I'm doing great. I'm full. I had a lot of food tonight. I had a couple of beverages along the way that made me feel even fuller. I've been drinking water for the last 2 hours, trying to recover something in my body. There's just pork and cheesecake flowing through my veins right now, and it's although delicious. Ooh, boy, am I full.
Yeah.
A lot of fun tonight. I thought the show was really, really good. I thought this show might be one of the best of all time. It ended up being just a really good show. So I think going into it with such lofty expectations, I think I created this impossible to live up to thing in my mind, and then it didn't live up to my expectations. That being said, it was not a bad show at all. I thought it was a great show. Like you though, man, there were some questions. My first question is, I'm going to look into the camera. Bleacher Report. The hell is wrong with you? We've been through this. We've talked to you. You know you need to fix your shit. And here we are. It's March 6th, 2022. We are months removed from your bullshit you tried to pull last time. What happens this time? I'm not locked out. No. I'm locked in to a bunch of pausing, to a bunch of freezing, to a bunch of restarting. I'm not happy. Put it somewhere else. Tony Khan, call HBO. Be like, hey, listen, HBO, you don't have problems when you stream. Can you put our show on there? And they'll say, you know what? You're in our family. No problem. And then fire everybody at Bleacher Report while you're at it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Damn it, man. I still don't know. All I know is that Matt was laying in the ring at the end of that match and Darby Allin's music was playing. No idea how that match ended. I don't even know who won.
Don't the streaming issues always seem to happen at the very worst time? It's seemingly never at some sort of inconsequential moment, a headlock, or, both dudes are like in the center of the ring, down from exhaustion. It's always at a consequential moment, which is frustrating. I had, as you know, Brad, we spoke before we clicked record. I had streaming issues as well here in Glendale, and I don't know about you, but when this occurs, I usually think it's just me, like I'm the only customer going through this. I didn't even see much chatter online, although I wasn't really seeking it out. But to hear that you also had this problem, I have to admit to you, Brad, it kind of warms my heart a bit, man, because I thought it was just me. But regardless, it needs to stop. I'll look in the camera as well. Bleacher Report. Your time has come and gone. We're waiting for HBO Max, Brad. Please, Tony. Please. We paid $50 for this. Come on.
You know what the best part is? If we clipped this, we can only use yours, because I just now realized that we were broadcasting under the Small Town USA brand.
No way.
For the first
I did not even, I can see it now.
3 minutes and 58 seconds of this stream.
It's a plug for Small Town.
Yeah.
Jess and Carmen.
Yeah. Small Town USA. Bleacher Report. Fix it. We're in your cities. We're in the small towns. We're trying to watch too. Your app sucks. How do I find my events? And why, when I find them, is it a video button that looks like YouTube? Aren't you your own thing? Shouldn't it look like Bleacher Report? Oh, that's right. It doesn't work. So it probably should work like YouTube, because YouTube, it works. Fix it. Tired of this. Let's move on. Let's actually talk about the show. The parts that we got to watch right out the gate. We had 3 pre-show matches. They were certainly on the pre-show, and I think probably for a good reason. Our first match was legit Layla Hirsch taking the win over Chris Statlander by distraction. Really, she used a foreign object, nailed Chris Statlander with part of a turnbuckle, got in. I don't remember what her finisher was. It was a frog splash, a moonsault, something.
Moonsault. An impressive moonsault. I think it was like that. It wasn't just from the turnbuckle. It was from the I'm
that's
forgetting
right.
of the word. The rope. The ring
rope. It was like a springboard.
It was like
right?
a springboard. Yeah, springboard moonsault. Exactly. It looked good.
Yeah. I liked this match. It was 9 minutes 50 seconds. It was slow, but it was good. It was a good match for the feud. It made Layla look like more of a heel. I don't know why I called Layla a Gila. I'm running on fumes right now.
This is truly a post show.
I
think everyone out there listening appreciates the immediacy of this, man. We couldn't wait to talk about the show.
Yeah,
I will probably stumble over a few words myself. I got your back.
Well, Layla took the win. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, well, we predicted this one. We actually got a lot of predictions correct.
Yeah,
you and I were. I think we may have even picked every single match together on the preview episode, which is a little scary. But first, we were accurate on this, so that was good. In terms of what I thought, though, I thought it was pretty solid, man. It didn't. I think we're going to see these two lock up again probably pretty soon. I hope that match will be better. This wasn't great for me, but it certainly wasn't bad. It was just solid. But I'm glad Layla got the win. Of course, by devious heel means, which is still strange because Chris, as we said on the preview episode, Brad, Chris Statlander said on television that Layla deserved to be sent to an orphanage. But so Chris kind of feels like the heel going into this, but then Layla's the heel because she cheats. I'm a little confused on who I'm supposed to be rooting for and who I'm supposed to be booing.
Yeah.
But I was so glad they got some shine here. For me, frankly, the lack of energy from the crowd, I think affected my enjoyment. And granted, this was like 5 hours ago, so my memory might not be as fresh. But I recall it being noticeable that there were a lot of empty seats. I think folks really waited to get to their seat until the main show. I don't know what traffic was like in Orlando or folks were at the gift shop, but it kind of felt like a dark match to me based on the lack of people there. So that affected my enjoyment of it. But as you know, I'm a huge fan of both of these women.
Yeah, likewise. But a lot of the show felt like a dark match. Even though the crowd was full behind the ring. I don't know if it's because they don't have them mic'd correctly or what. It was dead for a lot of the show. It's just dead. Yeah.
During surprising spots as well.
Yeah.
Points in the show.
It sucked the energy out of myself watching it. It was like, I popped huge for a couple of spots in the house, and the crowd was just like, that. I don't remember what they are. They were just like, holy hell, that kick was stiff or something like that. It was during like the Mox Danielson match, I'm sure. And the crowd was just watching. Just watching. It was just kind of a disappointing crowd, but in any case, they were not disappointed when Hook came out. QT came out, cut a brief promo as he is wont to do. Then Hook came out, his music played, and I think QT gave Hook his longest match to date, a 5-minute match where we knew what the outcome was going to be. I liked it for what it was.
Me too. You and I were also predicting that this would be fairly long as Hook matches go. I think maybe the Bear Bronson match probably was close to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Great.
I'm sure that stat exists somewhere out there in the ether. But yeah, enjoyable, man. Seeing Hook suplex QT in various impressive ways was a blast. And I will say I really love the finish of QT. He did that thing where he gets thrown into the ropes and then like hoists himself up, jumps, assuming Hook is going to run underneath him. Hook did not run underneath, though. He just stood there. QT said, wait, where is he? And then Hook applied the red rum. I really enjoyed that. It was kind of comical and just reinforced that Hook is unstoppable right now.
Yeah, it was awesome. I feel like he's our Goldberg right now.
Yes.
Our half-sized Goldberg, who is just on an undefeated winning streak, and all the matches are short, but I really liked it. Our next match on the pre-show, we'll keep it moving here so we can get to the big stuff. I really liked this. This was a fun match. It was the House of Black against Death Triangle with Eric Redbeard. The House of Black won. I think that's the right decision. I love what they had to do to stop Redbeard. Made him look like a monster. They're doing that a lot. They did that with Andrade last week, where it had to be both finishers to put him down so that the match could end in a different way. And I thought this was a fun match, a little confusing and slow sometimes, but I thought it was ultimately a pretty fun match. What did you think?
I really enjoyed this. I did have an issue with the ending, though. I want to know if you caught this, Brad. And you had company over, by the way, which hopefully you'll mention shortly. Some of the best company one can have. So this is kind of a quick spot. But did you notice, I wonder if our listeners noticed this too, or viewers if you're watching on YouTube, before the finish, Redbeard was near his corner, and I could have sworn Penta tagged himself in. He tagged Redbeard on the shoulder, but then Redbeard took the finishers and was pinned. I think he's pinned by Malachi Black ultimately. But I'm 99% sure Penta tagged in. But we never saw Penta. Redbeard was the legal man.
Man, I didn't see that at all.
Yes, I'm almost positive, bro.
Wow.
It was a quick moment, but that, again, the match was really good. But that was, I thought about that during the finish. Like, he's not the legal man. That's, House of Black didn't really win. But they look super impressive. I want to know your thoughts on their entrance, by the way.
I missed most of it. So we were in the living room, or the kitchen, peeking in. I believe at that point I know what I was doing at that point. At that point I was pulling the pork shoulder. Very important task.
Speaking of shoulders, right? This match is all about shoulders.
Yes.
Clearly, yes.
Yeah, I was in the kitchen pulling the pork shoulder, kind of peeking in, and I was like, it's Malachi. It's cool. I'm going to be over here. So I didn't see it at all. So I have nothing to comment on that. I got to see the finish, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think if you do, you'll enjoy it.
I'll have to since I missed half of this show because Bleacher Report sucks.
My takeaway was that Buddy Matthews, Brody King, and Malachi were wearing the signature Malachi mask deal with the antlers. All three of them were. I think the music was different as well.
It was different music, yeah.
It sounded new, right? You probably heard it. Yeah. But yeah, super fun. And I mean, even though I had an issue with what I believe was the tag at the end, there were 6 dudes in this match. So there was a lot of moving parts and keeping up with what was happening and who's the legal man. It was a lot. And kudos to the talent in there because there were some stiff, snug-looking spots, some risky spots.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Redbeard took the pin, even if it wasn't legal. But
neither was the mist.
Neither was the mist.
Yeah.
Great call. But I think Redbeard looked good. I'm not familiar if he's done a lot of indie work over the past few months or past year since we've last seen him on AEW television, which I think may have been the Brody Lee tribute.
Yeah.
I thought he looked really good, man. And it seemed like the crowd really popped for him. He got a great reaction.
I think so too. And there was a point that I made the joke that when him and Brody were like running into each other.
Yes.
Over and over again. And they're like,
over and over
he's
again.
trying to blow him up. And I was like, he may legitimately be blown up. He has not wrestled regularly, as far as I know, in a long time. But yeah, I thought he looked really good. He's not the most athletic guy in the world when it comes to like being able to do some crazy stuff, but like he's got a great kick. He's got a great big boot. He does a hell of a choke slam, and he looked like a monster out there, which is what he's supposed to do. Big, giant ass Viking looking dude.
Yeah, and I think this really stirred some excitement within the fan base to see this new but familiar guy. And what was crucial was that someone was able to take the pin for Penta and Pac, because I think you and I agree we didn't want either guy taking it. I think you can't have Penta take it as Penta Oscuro right now. And I know you love his entrance, by the way, with the foam, the graveyard looking deal. So I'm just glad neither of those dudes took the pin. I don't know if we're going to see Redbeard on this week's programming. I don't think we need to. But yeah, this was really effective, especially for a main event of a buy-in. I thought this was super fun.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a long match, and it's what I kind of figured it would be. And I was happy to have extra wrestling, even though it didn't really count. After that, we get the classic good old JR coming into the Oklahoma fight song, and we start our show. And we start our show with Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. I loved this. I loved this match. It was so much fun. Were there a couple of moments in there that weren't the best? Sure. But they also weren't the worst. Seeing Eddie know to move forward just even a little bit for that lion salt, because he was 3/4 of the way across the ring.
You noticed that, especially on the replay.
Yeah, you're like,
I saw that.
He's so far away. I saw it on the first go before the replay, which is why it was extra noticeable to see Jericho do like a handspring to make it the rest of the distance. But it still looked really cool. We basically got all of the Jericho moves. Jericho got everything in. He got a code breaker in, a Judas effect. Several code breakers, Judas effect, Walls of Jericho, the Lion Salt. Did
we get the come on baby?
We didn't get come on baby.
I know you pop for that.
We haven't had that in a while. And we even got the top rope Hurricane Rana. He does that corner Hurricane Rana. I feel like that to me is sort of like, that's like Triple H and his I'm going to stop you dead in your tracks and give you the knee to the face, do the knee drop, or Rock with the DDT as a counter.
Yes.
I feel like those moves are not a finisher, but they're sort of expected. And the Lion Salt and the top rope Hurricane Rana from Jericho are two of those moves that it's great. They beat the shit out of each other. Those were potatoes in that ring. And I loved it. I was here for it. It was a fun match. It was a great Eddie Kingston match. It was a fun later career Chris Jericho match. I loved it. I love that it built up a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, but storyline, I guess, for Proud and Powerful with Eddie Kingston. Now that they've made up with Jericho, maybe this splits the inner circle for good because he didn't shake Eddie's hand. I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. But I'm kind of over that now. I'd like to see the inner circle just break up, but I don't think we're going to. And whatever, we got to see this match. What did you think of this match?
I think this was a great call to be in the opening slot for the show. What stood out to me first and foremost is that it's probably a little obvious. Both dudes are so over. So Jericho's song plays, Judas plays to open the show, the crowd is singing it, and then
Cold World,
and a huge pop, right? And then right after that, equal if not a greater pop is Eddie Kingston coming out, and he's not messing around, right? I think he took off his chain,
took off the shirt right away. The chain,
bolted for the ring to lock up. I took a few notes actually for this one, to my left here. So I typed on my phone, Jericho is 51. Mm-hmm. So I think I typed that after his Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
That's just really impressive.
Yeah.
We celebrated 30 years of Jericho not too long ago. He's just in great shape and killing it. Kingston had a half and half suplex.
Yes.
It
was amazing.
Yes.
And I thought Jericho died.
I want to say it was actually the first spot in the match.
Yeah.
And
dumped immediately on his head.
Jericho worked me because I thought, oh my God,
this
guy has a concussion. But clearly it worked, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, he got through the match and all seemed to be fine. But yeah, man, that half and half looked nasty. There were actually a few spots in this match where I was just worried about sort of potential head trauma. It's kind of a theme throughout the night, but I guess that's just kudos to these men and women, and they work us constantly. Something I wasn't super stoked about here, Brad. This is very nitpicky of me, and this kind of is maybe a shout out to Jess and Jess's commentary on ring gear. I have an issue when wrestlers are fighting each other, but they have the same color gear.
Yeah.
So both these dudes had black. Granted,
Yeah.
Eddie had black with some yellow trim, but I just don't like it, man. Like, I know they must talk before their match to figure out, okay, I got black gear, you got blue, or I got black, and then you choose any other color. I was a little bummed by that, but again, that's so nitpicky and maybe a bit silly. I just think two dudes should have separate color gear.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm happy Kingston got the win here. I put in my notes, I think the last 3 pay-per-view matches he's had, high-profile matches, he's lost. If we go earliest to most recent, he lost to Moxley in that full gear main event. I think I was over your home, your old home, previous home. Yep, he lost to Moxley. He fought Miro at All Out for the TNT belt. That was also the opener of the show.
Match.
Such a good match. He lost, which he should have.
Yeah.
And we know that he also lost to CM Punk on pay-per-view. So it made so much sense for Kingston to get the win. You and I predicted this correctly. And I didn't know how I felt about the post-match business. It makes me think that they're going to run this match back or continue this feud. And frankly, I think I would have been okay with this being a one-off and Kingston getting the win, Jericho shaking the hand and moving forward. I thought Jericho was maybe going to give him a low blow, but Jericho just didn't return the handshake, and I think we're going to continue this rivalry, which I don't know that I need, but I thought this was extremely fun. Great opener.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with them not doing this again. If they keep it going, that's fine. But we've already seen the proud and powerful stuff, so I don't need that again.
Yeah, exactly.
Has Jericho wrestled in anything but black since being in AEW? I know Eddie hasn't.
No, I think it's like a lot of dudes. I think black is the main color for him.
Yeah, and it's so difficult when it's like, well, this is what they've always done. So
yeah.
It's somewhere in between. I know it wasn't a pay-per-view, but I think it was an event. It was one of those we're having Dynamite, but it's not Dynamite. It's Beach Break. It's Fight for the Fallen. It's whatever. Where one of Bryan Danielson's first matches in AEW, first feuds was with Eddie Kingston, and Eddie choked out by flipping off Danielson all the way to unconscious land, and he lost that too. And I was just like, yeah, I'm with you. He needed wins, and he's gotten a couple in there, but none in high profile spots. So really happy to see him get that win. I really liked the match. It was booked really well to make this a fight. And I don't need to see it anymore, but it was good.
Yeah, and he won by submission, which was a surprise. That maybe I'm just not up to date on my Eddie Kingston matches, but I don't remember him using that submission before. It was there's certainly a name for it, which is escaping me, but it was an interesting looking submission. I didn't expect Jericho to tap if he was going to lose.
The arm wrench, right?
Yeah, he was just wrenching it back a few times, and Jericho tapped, which was surprising.
I've seen him use it, but I don't know that I've seen him use it and win. I think he was using it against Danielson, I thought, but Danielson got out of it.
Yeah. I do love Eddie's reaction when Jericho tapped. Did you see when he told, I forget who was reffing this. Aubrey Edwards was reffing it. He asked Aubrey, wait, did I win?
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm the winner?
Yeah.
Great little touch there. I will give him that.
Yeah, I did see that. I commented on that when we were watching.
Awesome.
I was like, oh, that was great. It's just, I love that he's like, either he can't believe it or he's still so out of it from all the punishment that he didn't know the match was over. Either one of those things is awesome.
Yeah, he sold the hell out of those code breakers.
Well, that last one, I don't know if he needed to.
the orbital bone.
Ooh,
I think they said on commentary a few times. And his eye, one of his eyes looked really red. At least
and that 100% that's the one where that he landed he landed on that like he took it for real.
Yeah.
So yeah, our next match, the title defense 3-way tag team match for the championship. Kind of what we thought going into it. I thought if anybody took it, it would be Red Dragon. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. Not the match itself, but Jurassic Express retaining. I'm fine with it. This match was a lot of fun. I really liked this match. It was exciting. It was pretty well paced out. There's still some spots. There's a lot of, hey, I'm going to wait to set this up with Luchasaurus that I can't get past that. I'm having such a hard time getting past that because I'm watching him figure out how to set it up instead of watching him fight. You're not ever questioning if Kyle O'Reilly is fighting. You're not ever questioning that. That dude is just laying all of it in. And you're not really waiting for anything. If you're not ready, you're just getting your head kicked in. So Luchasaurus looked really good in this match, though. Like, this is probably his best match. I don't know.
Right.
As a tag team, yeah.
Yes. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please continue. I agree with you on that point.
No, I think that was really it. I love what they did with Red Dragon and the Young Bucks finally coming to it. I popped several times for Brandon Cutler and the Cold Spray.
Yes, you know what? I knew you would. There was. I will cut you off now.
There was one. It was the close up.
Yes, one of the Jackson
spray.
brothers was on the apron, and he comes over. I think it was like spraying his chest area.
Yeah, it was his chest. Yeah,
you know what? That's funny. I didn't put this in my notes, but I knew you were popping for that.
Yeah, I was.
Color is just like
I love.
I'm just so happy that he's found this role. It's just perfect, and it really adds. Of course, he has the ridiculous outfit on. I guess I'm just very fashion focused today, man. He had the ridiculous outfit on, and like you said, the spray. Yeah. And I love. This is even earlier, but when the Young Bucks were coming into the ring and did their flexing pose, I just love Cutler being in the middle and it's great, man.
Yeah.
I think he really adds so much to that team.
No, I agree with you. He's great. I love that he's being bullied all the time. So you know what? At some point there'll be a turn where he gets to have his shine. Maybe he comes back out with the Warrior gimmick, the three paint lines on his face, and I just love him in that role so much as being kind of a stooge.
Associate stooge.
A young boy. But that, like, even Adam Cole, who came in late, and Red Dragon, who came in late, are bossing him around, telling him to do everything.
Don't they call him Landon?
Yeah,
I think
yes, they call him
Kyle
Landon.
does specifically.
Yeah, calls him Landon. But I especially love when he comments when he's on camera, because usually you don't know if it's him. It's just the camera set up somewhere. But or is Adam Cole, and you had the Bucks and Red Dragon on either side of him, and he was talking to both of them, and they, like, one went this way, the other went the other way, and Adam stood there and looked around this way and this way, like, where am I gonna go? And Brandon goes, where are you gonna go? Or which way are you gonna go, Adam?
Shut up, Brandon.
Shut up, Brandon. Turn that thing off. And it's just, I love it.
Well,
so
AEW's made it a point to explain to the audience why a camera is filming whatever's happening backstage. I think that's a critique we often have about WWE, and AEW just does that so well, especially with the Elite. It's as simple as Brandon's recording, and then when it's something that's not supposed to be shot, Brandon, stop.
Yep.
Off.
Yeah, I
leave.
love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
But as far as the match goes, I thought I loved all of Kyle O'Reilly's stuff. The Bucks are great. They worked me into a shoot a couple of times here, not because I thought somebody was going to lose necessarily, but they have those we're going to just start going spots where it's everybody's fighting everybody and it's rapid. You're like, oh, this is it. And then it wasn't it. And then they would wrestle some more, and then that would happen again. That's not it. And then we would keep going. So I really liked the way that the match kept drawing me back into it, because it wasn't a super long match. It was 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes, but it was long enough. And I love that Jurassic Express retained, and I love that it furthered the story with the other two teams. I love that Don Callis made an appearance tonight, even though Don Callis, to remind everybody that Kenny Omega still exists, which felt like a tease. I thought for sure we were getting Kenny Omega tonight.
Yes.
After he showed up.
Yeah, people on Twitter were talking about the masked cameraman.
Yeah. Yeah.
All for naught, though.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get him back. We'll get him back soon.
Yeah. Okay, you have notes on this match. What are your notes?
So, yeah, I don't want to belabor the point. I think, in summary, I might be higher on this match than you are, Brad. This was my second choice for match of the night. I really enjoyed this, and my first note, I guess my first and my last actually, was that when we did our preview show, I think this match was completely hiding in plain sight for me. There were so many sexier matches, quote unquote, that just, we're kind of, I was so locked in terms of, which match I'm most stoked for, which is going to be the best match. There were probably at least 4 or 5 others I was putting ahead of this. But it makes so much sense that this would be my second choice for match of the night, because all 3 teams here are just so good. And you just knew they were going to work so well together. Luchasaurus totally shined. And whenever he's in this position, either in a tag match or a 3-way tag, he always pops the crowd, man. Yeah. The hot tag. I knew when he was going to do his offense where he does that, like, the tail whip, and then he beats up the dude's inside, then goes outside and does the moonsault. Like, it was so predictable and yet so enjoyable. You just knew he was going to shine. Jungle Boy, my hat's off to him, man. Yeah. He really delivered, in my opinion.
Yeah, he took a thrashing tonight.
Yes, but he is always so smooth.
Yep.
With everything he does, and right. He has a very, very unique charisma, in my opinion. The Young Bucks are the Young Bucks. Some of the spots the Jacksons do are just incredible, man. It's just so fluid. Like you said, there's just spot after spot and people jumping and doing twists in the air, and they just make it all look so good. It was great to see Red Dragon get their first pay-per-view match. I have fond memories of watching them on NXT takeovers. Back in the glory days of the Black and Gold brand, the tag team title match would usually open a takeover, and they would often be the matches of the night. So it was great to see O'Reilly and Fish here. And like you, Brad, I'm really happy that Jurassic retained. I want them to have the belts for longer. So like you said, I think it's a win-win. Jurassic keeps the belts, and we can still further the Bucks versus Red Dragon, and hopefully Kenny's back sooner than later, and then we get trios titles and have this epic elite trios match probably at Double or Nothing. So this was really good for me. Again, this was my second choice for match of the night.
Yeah, it was really solid. I liked it a lot, and that brings us to the ladder match, which was my second match of the night. I don't know. It's one of those deals where it's really hard to separate what happened during or after, or before, with what happened in the match. Like, not on our list, which I'm sure we're going to get to later, our debuts. But let's start with the Face of the Revolution ladder match. I really liked this match a lot, even if there were a couple of spots that were obviously not supposed to happen the way they happened. It still felt fine. I don't know what happened on the ladder with Ricky at the end with Ricky and Wardlow, but it kind of looked like Wardlow was trying to be careful with him, mm-hmm. and then was so careful with him he gently put him down and do a powerbomb.
Yeah.
And also,
it kind of felt like when you tuck Freya into sleep, right? It was
yeah,
just so. It did come off as gentle. It was noticeable, very noticeable.
Yeah, I was like, that was really bad. But also, like, he's protecting his guy.
Yes.
And Ricky broke his neck, and you land on that ladder wrong with your neck, you're breaking your neck all over again. So I feel like,
great call.
Yeah, that was my first thought was, okay, he's protecting him. He could break his neck again. All of those things. Also, it didn't look great, but I don't really care. Wardlow got the ring. We got so many great moments when Keith Lee was doing the promos the last couple of weeks where Powerhouse Hobbs would be next to him. Powerhouse Hobbs looked bigger or the same size as Keith Lee. And then you get those guys in the ring. Powerhouse Hobbs looks small. I didn't know that was possible. But he was standing next to Keith, and I was like, oh my God. This guy is just he's just on another level.
There's no one like him.
He's so much bigger. I was expecting, which I probably should not have, when Wardlow started yelling on the outside of the ring and all the guys were laid out. I thought for sure he was going to start power bombing everybody. Like everybody gets a power bomb, including Keith Lee, and then that didn't happen. Orange Cassidy was in this match. He got to do the kick spot. He had a few other moments, but it was like pretty pointless to have him in there. I loved Christian's role in this match because he wasn't really there to be a big part of the match. He was there to remind you, oh, he could win this because he's won so many ladder matches. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he'll climb that thing because he's more experienced, but also he didn't take the shine from anybody, which I really liked, and everybody else looked really good. We had Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, and Ricky Starks all sort of getting to shine in this match. And I just really liked it. I liked it because the people that were involved in it are all the future. The final two competitors that it could have been down to are AEW guys. They just are. Keith Lee, well, let's face it, if he's here for a year, he's now an AEW guy. He just is because they couldn't figure out what to do because his NXT is dead and gone. So Powerhouse Hobbs, he's an AEW guy. He took out the biggest monster on the planet right now with Keith Lee when Wardlow knocked both of them down into the pit. Amazing. So good. Yeah. I loved this match. This match was a lot of fun. There was only one part that I really had a problem with besides some of the pacing. Some of it was a little slow. But I did like it overall, was watching them get up onto a broken ladder and having to hold my breath. When Keith brought that other ladder up and you saw the side rail had fallen off, so it was just that thing was being held on by one. I was like, okay, he's a big boy and he's going on this thing. And then two more people got on it. I was like, someone's going to die, someone's going to die, someone's going to die. I kept saying it over and over again, and it didn't happen, luckily. But as soon as that ladder got tipped over, I was like, oh my God, this ladder is going to explode midway down and somebody's going to land on it. It's going to be bad. And it was fine. But it was a lot of fun, man. What are your thoughts on this match?
So this was my choice for match of the night. And actually, I think I'm going to have, if I may, Brad, I'm going to have two matches of the night. I actually really enjoyed a match later in the show. So I think the tag one would actually be my third. This ladder match, though, is my top choice. This was an absolute blast. There were so many moments. There were so many moments in this one. I actually really enjoyed Orange Cassidy's role. I know probably no one thought he was actually going to win, but for me, he was integral into my enjoyment of this. To start out, when we get the three sirloin gentlemen facing off, we get the moment early on.
He did everybody
early on.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
So good.
And then Orange Cassidy pops in.
Yes.
And just is Orange Cassidy. I love that. Later in the match, the same thing happened, and he happens to roll in. And then I think Keith Lee grabbed him and used him as like a battering ram.
Yes.
I thought that was perfect. What really got me, and I think got the audience, was do you remember that spot when Orange Cassidy, he was like holding on to the ladder, and I think two other guys were bringing the ladder up. So he was like,
that was awesome,
hanging on, and then spun up
himself
and
up
tried to grab the ring. And the crowd, and this is again also early on, the crowd popped for it. I thought that was, I know Orange Cassidy is Orange Cassidy, but this dude has to be one of the more athletic guys on the roster.
Oh, he absolutely is. I love Orange Cassidy. Yeah.
I don't think there's any way I could do that, Brad.
No, but immediately after that spot, the ladder went down at an angle, and didn't Christian run up onto the ladder that like Wardlow was holding on to?
Yeah.
And he was trying to get it too. There was somebody else that did it.
Yeah.
It was so well booked.
Yeah, Orange really delivered. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said. I don't want to just be super repetitive on a late night pod, but yeah, man, this was very unique in that I don't know. I believed anyone was gonna win except Wardlow. And usually when we go into these multi-man ladder matches, I can think of, okay, maybe it's at least these two people are the top contenders in this match, or maybe even three, or maybe even in some way all of them have a shot. I could picture the booking. The more and more I thought about our preview episode, it really only made sense for Wardlow to win this.
Yeah.
Clearly, Team Taz are going to have their beef with Keith Lee. Orange isn't winning. Christian doesn't need to win. And thus, Wardlow gets the victory. So, my takeaway was that Wardlow is an absolute top star for them. His spots in the match, taking out both Hobbs and Lee, like you pointed out, his victory, the reaction to his victory, it all just solidified. And later on, we're going to get this validation too. It just solidified that this guy's going to be a mega star for them, and that this was the right choice. And maybe he does end up getting that TNT championship, or MJF screws him out of it, one or the other. I love this. This was a definite favorite of mine on the show.
Here's my prediction for that. I predict Wardlow does win the TNT championship, and because he's TNT champion, you get all the rights and privileges of being TNT champion. That means he's now under contract with TNT rather than MJF. And I don't think I don't think Tony Khan, but I think TNT, and that will null and void his contract with MJF, or they'll do some kind of legal tomfoolery there, and we'll see what happens. I wanted to make sure I get one tomfoolery in.
That's right. We got to continue it. Yeah, I could see that. It really. We'll get to this later, obviously, but it does seem like we're moving fully ahead with MJF versus Wardlow. So I don't know. Maybe that's a future TNT program. Maybe MJF isn't that next world heavyweight champion. It should be interesting.
We'll see what happens, but I feel like MJF will do this thing. Fine, you want out of your contract, you got to do all these things, and we get another trials thing that MJF sets up, because that seems to be his go-to. With CM Punk, he wasn't allowed to wrestle him unless he beat FTR. With Jericho, it's like, you want to fight me? Fine, you got to do the labors of Jericho.
The labors of Jericho, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, let's see what happens, because Jericho had to beat Wardlow. Jericho had to beat FTR. It's... I think it makes perfect sense that MJF is pissed at Wardlow this week. Wardlow yeets him into the sun, and then MJF says, "Fine, if you want him on a contract." Or maybe Tony Khan gets involved. Who knows?
Yeah. I know all of us knew this, but maybe it was just me, but I'll ask you. Didn't you have a moment when Wardlow grabbed that brass ring? And in fact, it is a brass ring. You and I were trying to figure out what the physical item is, and it's still the ring. When he grabbed, when he grabbed it, though, I don't know about you, Brad, but I just had a moment of like, all right, we're going through with this. Wardlow is, there's Danielson, there's Moxley, there's obviously Hangman, there's Adam Cole, but Wardlow seems to just be catapulting himself into that echelon of, this guy isn't just like the flavor of the month. Yeah, he's going to be one of those top dudes. I just had a moment tonight, well before CM Punk versus MJF. Specifically during this match when Wardlow won, when I thought to myself, yeah, the booking has been great for him. The storytelling has been great. You've made a future world champion here. Yeah,
the only thing that I don't like about this brass ring thing is that I want to see him in that world title picture now. Yeah, and not later. I don't know that we need to do that.
Yeah,
traditionally,
it's crowded.
Yeah. I just whatever. But having him in the TNT title tournament. Or in the title picture, having him take the belt opens up a lot of possibilities. Maybe he wrestles Brian Cage, or returning Brian Cage, because we know he signed a contract extension. We haven't seen him since like October, so maybe that happens. I don't know. A returning Miro would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, and that's speaking of someone who should probably be in the heavyweight title the world title picture, I should say.
Yeah.
Right? Miro arguably had the best TNT title reign, period.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And I'm trying to think of who... Well, I don't want to think that far out. I guess let's just move on with the show since I've been suppressing yawns and coughing and stuff. So let's move on before this becomes longer than the actual pay-per-view. The next match we had, Jade Cargill. I just called her Jay Cargill. Jade Cargill against Ty Conti. Jade came out, new ring gear. The living room was silent at Casa Winchester, and it was hilarious to me how quiet it got with the gentleman that I was watching this with, who I don't know if they want me putting their names out there, because it's very secretive, this place. They were watching, I believe, respectfully. One person had never seen the presence, the entrance of Jade Cargill before. And it's just like, it's one of those things you can't really say much. You just got to look and go, holy crap.
You got to lay out, yeah.
Ty Conti looked great coming in.
Yes.
I was hoping she did the face paint thing. She did. It was awesome. She has great kicks. This match was fast. A lot of stuff happened really quickly. Almost immediately, there were like two. Oh, crap. She's going for Jaded right away. This is going to be a squash. And then it didn't happen. Yeah. So that was really cool. And then it transitioned right into Ty's submission move, which she got out of. And it was great. Jade then went for the pump kick, which was countered. It was just really fun. It was all the haymakers thrown right away. I really liked this match for what it was. It was not a 5-star classic. It wasn't any of those things, but it was a very strong match for both of them. Jade won. Jade looks stronger every time we see her. At this point, just let her keep the belt forever.
I don't have much to add. I enjoyed this one as well, Brad. Like you said, both are just such stars, and Jade just has a really special presence. I don't think there's anyone else like her on the roster. When that music plays, when she appears with Smart Mark Sterling, there's just something different. The energy is different. Like you said, at Casa Winchester, it's silent because it's Jade's entrance. Who else do you do that for? So yeah, man, another great victory for Jade. Love Ty getting the shine. Love us having a second women's match so far tonight. 3 women's matches total if you include the buy-in. So I just love. I think you needed Jade's star power on this show, and like you said, it was just. Pedal to the metal. This didn't need to be a 20-minute match. It was about, I think, 5 to 6 minutes, you said?
Yeah, 6:50.
Yeah, and the right person won. I will say, though, do we want to mention what happened before this match? I believe we had a signing right before this match. Or are we saving that for later?
Up to you if you brought it up. So, like, listen, man, we knew it was coming, but...
Yes, tonight, though.
It was strange to hear the entrance music.
I really liked it though.
I thought it was great. Yeah. It was just different.
Yeah.
Tyler, tell the people.
Yeah, man. So Tony Schiavone introduced this is a complete surprise on the show, the newest signing to All Elite Wrestling, Shane Swerve Strickland.
Almost newest.
Newest.
We got a new one later in the show.
Yes. That we do. In-ring talent, I guess, maybe.
Yes.
I don't
know, there's some pretty stiff slaps later in the show. So
yeah, this is very true. You're spot on.
And a headbutt.
Yes. So if you follow wrestling, specifically Twitter and the recent rumors and what have you, it's been reported. I think Fightful actually was the first to report that Shane Swerve Strickland, formerly known as Isaiah Swerve Scott, was signing with AEW, and he appeared tonight. He said some words. He asked the audience whose house. They told him it's Swerve's house, and man, it was just great. He's rocking the suit, which we saw him do on the Indies and in some of his promotional business on social media. So I don't know. I'm trying to fantasy book him. I don't know what his first feud's going to be. I don't know if he goes directly for the TNT title. But this dude is in AEW. He's back on our TV screens. And I think he's going to get the chance to shine as a solo act, Brad. As much as I loved Hit Row, I think Swerve deserved to be the face of that group. And it quickly became apparent on Friday Night SmackDown that he was just kind of going to be a tag wrestler. As much as we love tag wrestling, I think Swerve has the talents to stand out on his own. And I think he's going to get the chance to do that, man. So I am stoked, and I did not see this coming tonight. This is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know when it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. I don't even know if it was rumors. It sounded like it was all but going to happen. We just didn't know when. And it happened tonight. It was pretty sweet. I love that the crowd was chanting before he said, "I have a question for you," which was what they were already chanting.
Right.
Well, it's what they were all trying to chant. And then he said, "Whose house?" And then everybody, oh, that was so good. So really excited. This guy, man, I can't wait to see where he starts, who the feud is going to be with. My guess is that eventually it'll be with Lance Archer, because that seems to be what happens. But I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure who the feud will be with. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and Swerve's presentation just it feels different.
It does.
You know, and there's been some hints, and I think he's even said in interviews that he wants to do something completely different with this next run. He has a budding music career.
Yep.
And it's just, I'm really hopeful. I was also hopeful for Leo Rush, who also does music and wrestling.
It's funny that you said that, because
the
the entrance in the debut reminded me a lot of Leo Rush.
Right.
If Leo would have come in with a suit on instead of like the long sleeves and the long pants get up, his regular ring gear, if he would have showed up in a suit, everything would have felt like Leo. That slow, methodical pace. A lot of it reminded me of Leo for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't
He was
know.
like Bitcoin Leo at first, right?
Yeah.
Or like Money Man Leo.
Yeah.
It was kind of odd.
It never really found its footing, and then he left. So
Yeah.
that bums me out still.
Yeah, some cause for pause, but yeah, man, super exciting.
Yeah, can't wait.
I feel like I was gonna say something else, but it probably wasn't that important. Yeah, super stoked for this, man. This was a really nice surprise. Actually, what I was gonna say, it came to me, is that this is what I love about pay-per-views. So if I'm gonna have streaming issues on Bleacher Report, at least I get the unannounced surprises that you and I have so much nostalgia for.
Yeah.
When buying wrestling pay-per-view. So this is great. I'm actually so happy it wasn't announced before the show. This was a nice surprise.
I agree. I was trying to avoid spoilers and looking at select news and those kinds of things. I saw somebody say very interesting people were spotted, and I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm off social media for the rest of the ending. I want to find out with the people that are in attendance in the crowd. Our next match, CM Punk, MJF, dog collar match, transfusion match, Blood City. Our first conversation after watching this match, with the people that were watching with me, how was the ring that was the ring mat they replaced underneath the ring mat for this match, or did they have to take it off and put a new one on? Was my question, because they changed it fast after this, but there was just, dude, CM Punk's gonna have to get he's gonna have to go get some IVs and some blood work done. They're also gonna need to I don't know, spray the front row with bleach, because they were right on the fence taking punches and he was busted open. I didn't catch the blade job. I was looking to see if Max was gonna do it, so I missed Punk to it, and Alf was over. And Alf caught it, and he said he just saw him stab himself in the forehead really quickly. And he just does it aggressively and quicker than everybody else, which is probably a deeper cut, which is why he ended up getting with so much blood. But it's pretty gnarly. When it was pouring out for a while, that was pretty gross. I thought this was a fun match. I thought it was good. It was 26 minutes long. It probably could have been 18. It was just way too slow. I understand being slow because of safety, but there was so much grandstanding, so much pandering to the crowd that it was just just no move. They're tired. I know you're trying to bring them back into it, but nobody's into it right now because it's so slow. On top of that, there's so much blood coming out of your face that everybody's going, "Oh my God, is he okay?" So it just, I really struggled with this one. I didn't think it was a bad one. I still think it was a good match. I thought this is the part that I thought the strength lied in. Man, they told a story in this match. The psychology made sense. They mostly sold their injuries. I don't know. You can't do a go to sleep, but and you could barely get to the apron, but you have enough in you to deliver a tombstone.
By the way, there were so many tombstones on this card.
There was so many.
If I didn't say this now, I was definitely going to forget it. Yeah, man,
there was
Tombstone City. I think was an alternate name for this pay-per-view. It was a lot. I agree with you though. Yeah, that I remember. I think that was on the apron, if I'm not mistaken.
It was right on the apron. Because Max sold his ass off.
Yes,
and it was just hanging there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
This match had great moments. I just wish they got there faster. It sounds like I'm shitting all over this match, but it was really just slow. It was everything about it was great. Especially great was the how did we get this chain so tangled around the court, the ropes, and Max having to just kind of go in, go out, and get it set so they could do their spot, which was really funny. But I really liked this. I think Punk winning was the right choice. After Max got his wins already, because of the Wardlow turn. Max has always cheated to win. Wardlow showed up. Was like, oh, I can't find the ring. I don't know where it is. Cost him the match by giving CM Punk the ring. And that's it. I really liked it. Again, I just wish that it was a little bit faster, like all of the things that I'm saying. How did you feel about this match?
I agree. I think this being maybe 18 or 20 minutes would have helped the pacing of the show, because it was just a long night of wrestling. I think for the the in-person fans, which I think reflected later on in the card in terms of their energy level or lack thereof, and also for those of us at home, Brad. I don't know about you or those listening right now, but even at home, once it hits, I don't know, hour 3, maybe 4, if you also watch the buy-in, there's just some fatigue of like, I can only watch so much wrestling. So fair. Yeah. Fair.
Just yawning.
I'm not trying to, just say the same points you did. It was really fun. The right guy went over. I'm really curious to see where Punk goes from here, though. To me, it seems like the winner of this match will shape up to be the number 1 contender for Hangman at Double or Nothing. So maybe this is the beginning of a CM Punk heel turn. The Tombstone stood out to me. But even before that, I loved CM Punk's entrance. I am not overly familiar with his ROH run, so I had to do a little bit of digging, meaning just check Twitter for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But the music, the old school gear he wore, it was so cool, man. When that music played and the blue light started, I didn't know what we were getting. I was like, is this Bray Wyatt? Or
I thought the same
the
thing.
fog? This music sounds vaguely familiar. But yeah, like you said, I think the entrances point to what you brought up about the storytelling. The out of ring, the in ring, all of the storytelling in this feud has exceeded my expectations. And I had high expectations when I saw that these two were going to have a rivalry in AEW. Everything they've done has exceeded my wildest expectations. I am very eager to see where both guys go from here. I think clearly MJF is going to feud with Wardlow, but I think it's time for CM Punk perhaps to go after Hangman's title. Wardlow, though, established here, Brad. The pop he got.
Oh my gosh.
And tell me you did not feel so gratified when Wardlow finally... He didn't give MJF the diamond ring. He put it on the mat. We've been waiting for it.
When he went in, it was like, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
And then put it
down. The pop. Brad.
So good.
Brad, tonight was Wardlow's night. Megastar. He essentially gives the diamond ring to Punk.
Yeah.
Wardlow's suit was incredible. Again, this is also a fashion episode.
Good Lord, yes.
The man knows how to wear a suit.
Yes.
This match delivered, and I think I think it really, every dude looked good in it. Even MJF taking the loss, CM Punk taking a win back here.
Yeah.
And then, again, Wardlow being established, I think, as a main event draw for them. That this really worked on a lot of levels.
Yeah, I agree. It helped. Again, what I said earlier, really great storytelling. Both of them told the story, and it led to a future story that we knew it was coming, but I didn't think it was ever going to happen because of how long it's taken. Which I really appreciate, because that pop doesn't happen if it went too fast. So just a very satisfying turn, which means MJF is going to win for the next couple of weeks at least.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. Because
Right. And Wardlow didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wardlow didn't, to your point about the build for Wardlow finally turning on MJF, he didn't have to touch MJF tonight. It's not like we got the Powerbomb Symphony on him. So we're still waiting, and we're still going to pop for that moment when he finally officially turns on MJF and just tosses him all over the ring.
Yeah.
We're still going to eagerly wait for that.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, this is great. Brutal, but great.
Brutal and
very brutal.
But yeah, I really liked it. I really appreciated it. The next match of the night was on probably both of our most anticipated match, except for the one that followed it, maybe. And that's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD champion, retaining against Thunder Rosa, which makes a lot of sense given what's coming for the St. Patrick's Day. What was it? St. Patrick's Day Massacre? I don't know.
Massacre.
That
Massacre was the last match. St. Patrick's Day Slam, I believe, is the name.
Which was the original Lights Out match date.
Yep. A year ago.
And it made Britt Baker. It put Thunder Rosa on the map for sure. I don't know if it made her. Listen, man, I did not like this match nearly as much as I thought it was going to be. It felt sloppy as F. And here's part of the reason why. It's a high def camera with a dead ass crowd and hot mics picking up Thunder Rosa's face and words as she calls the spots in the ring. She was calling this match, but you could hear her saying, "Take the knee," when she picked her up, and I don't even remember what the move was. It wasn't like a go to sleep, but it was something like that where she stuck the knee up and Britt hit her knee on her head on her knee. And all I could think is like, this is really bad. This is like indie stuff. And I'm having a hard time watching this. They're laying their stuff in, but then it's like, well, what's next? What's next? I love both of these two wrestlers so much. And I wanted Thunder Rosa to win, but after that, I was like, I'm glad she didn't. Put her in a match. And I don't know if it's just Britt. I really don't know if it's just Thunder and Britt don't have good chemistry if it's not a gimmick match. Because we've seen them wrestle when it's like a funky match, and it's great. But when it's a wrestling match, just last week, that tag match sucked. It was not a good tag match. It looked slow, and a lot of those elements look the same here. I don't know who's to blame. I don't know if there is anybody to blame. I don't know if it's just a chemistry thing or what. But if this is indeed building toward a Thunder Rosa championship, and she's got to beat Layla Hirsch next week, which she will, leading to her having another chance to win, and they put it in a cage, which would make a lot of sense. I think that match will be great. Then I don't know why. But I didn't strongly hate this match or anything. It's just like when I was expecting a 5-star match that'll live in our memories for the rest of time, and we got this 2-star match that was like, cool, nice main event of Rampage match. That's kind of how I felt about it, and I hate that I was down on it this much. I actually like Jade and Ty Conti, their match, better, and we have people with way more experience in the women's title main event that wasn't as good of a match. At least that's the way that I viewed it. What did you think of this match?
I think the best part of this match was the debut of the new women's belt.
Oh my god, the belt is amazing.
The new women's belt rules.
It might be the best belt in wrestling, and I'm shocked that I didn't say it. I love that it's like square.
It's
rectangular.
magnificent and so long overdue. I'm sure if you go back in the history of Gimmick Infringement, early episode, maybe October, November of 2021, Brad, we probably mentioned the women's belt and just the optics of it. It looked like a toy belt from Target, which was not indicative of the talent on their roster or the respect.
Well, that was
these
the
women
original,
deserve.
That was the original belt. That was the Sheeta belt, and then it got better, but it still looked bad.
But it just clearly wasn't what debuted tonight. So I had high hopes when we saw Britt walk out with that, and the commentary team, Excalibur and the crew put it over. But the match certainly did not live up to my expectations. On the Gimmick Infringement Twitter poll at GIPod19, I voted for this match as the one I was most anticipating. And much like the tag match you referenced, which featured Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker on Dynamite, it wasn't spectacular. And I think this match in particular, it seemed like it was just in the same gear for the whole match.
Yeah.
It never left that first gear for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So disappointing, not what we had hoped for. And again, I know our expectations were super high, but this match didn't even come close to what we thought it was going to be. However, I think you and I are going to have this conversation in about 2 weeks when talking about St. Patrick's Day Slam in San Antonio, and all is going to be forgotten because I think we are going to get a steel cage or I think it's going to be a steel cage. That makes too much sense. Thunder Rosa is going to win the belt. She's going to defeat Britt in her hometown of San Antonio, and it's going to be awesome. And then hopefully we'll get a great prolonged title reign. But tonight wasn't it, man. I have to agree with you. I think Jade versus Tay Conti. I always get in my head about it.
Me too.
Jade. I'm sorry if you're listening, Tay Conti. Jade and Tay Conti.
I thought you were apologizing to the listeners.
No, I was apologizing.
I'm sorry if you're listening.
To Tay, who's listening.
There was too long of a pause. I'm sorry if you're listening.
It's like
Tay Conti.
Yeah. Okay. I do have her figure though. That's my most recent figure purchase, and I was proud of it. $28, Ringside Collectibles. I know Jade versus Tay was a more enjoyable experience for me, and I had expectations for that match, but I really thought this match, Britt versus Rosa, was going to be the match of the night for me. And like you, Brad, it wasn't. Yeah, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, I did think that toward the end it did pick up a bit, but it never really went anywhere with it. So it was just sort of, I don't know, it was just disappointing. It was, again, not necessarily a bad match, but for what I expected it to be, it was bad. It was bad by comparison, I guess, but not a bad match.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe it.
And didn't the crowd seem more into Tay versus Jade?
Yes, but again, it just came after CM Punk versus MJF, bloodbath that was 26 minutes long, and then another 26 minutes of ring celebration with CM Punk. So, I don't know how long it was from the beginning of that match with the entrances to the bell to the finish to them leaving to the next vignette or video package. It had to have been well over 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Of just that match.
Right. And the Jamie Hayter Rebel, not Reba interference is a little played out for me at this point. I think this is why we're getting the steel cage.
Oh man.
But it I know wrestling is wrestling. There's always going to be interference on behalf of the heel.
Rebel interfered like two or three times in this match the same way.
I think we're touching on something here, Brad. I think this has been indicative of Britt's title reign and maybe why it's felt a little lackluster at times, is that it seems like they're sort of relying on the same crutches. And I don't know because I know it's not just exclusive to her as a heel champion with a title reign, but for whatever reason, it just seems so repetitive to me. And we're just sort of playing the same greatest hits that just did not feel great at all tonight. St. Patrick's Day Slam, from San Antonio cannot get here soon enough.
When you brought up Orange Cassidy in the beginning of the show, or actually it wasn't Orange Cassidy. Who was it? It was, I don't remember, but you said something about the baby faces doing something that you didn't like necessarily. Mm-hmm. And I forgot to bring up in the Jade Cargill match, because I was going to say, just like in the Jade match, Anna Jay hitting Jade with a chair. And I know it was retaliation because Jade hit her, but the baby faces cheating on the outside, doing heel stuff. It's very hard sometimes to tell who I'm supposed to be cheering for when stuff like that happens. But I know the Best Friends have done that, and Orange Cassidy has done stuff like that too. And it's okay if the baby faces cheat every once in a while. I'm fine with that. But it's just one of those deals where it's like, when it's the heels are just doing heel stuff all the time, and it's Rebel, I just over and over and over again. I don't need to see it. Yeah, so give me the cage. Didn't need a cage for the next one, though. This was the one that I voted for the most anticipated match of the evening. It is not my favorite match of the night, but it was my most anticipated match of the night. It might have my favorite ending. Jon Moxley beat Bryan Danielson. This was a really fun match. They hit each other really hard. Kicks to the head, kicks to the chest, kicks to the side, punches, chops, just absolutely violent. Exactly as promised. We got blood. They got busted open. Mox stole the win, and off a cocky Bryan Danielson. And then they started fighting after the bell. And who through our window should appear but a vision of a former king, former Lord Steven Regal, not William, Steven. And I just think it's so cool to see him, because I don't think they could say it until next week, but he will be back on TNT. He was a WCW superstar at one point. He was Goldberg's first long match, and it was dreadful because Goldberg didn't know how to work. And to see Steven Regal come back in the ring, smack the piss out of both Moxley and Danielson.
He really did.
He hit them
talk about snug spots
boy,
on tonight's show. Yeah, but
he always worked that way. So to see him do that to those two dudes, I thought was just so great. Knowing specifically that Regal was in NXT with Moxley, just so good. Like, I loved the end of this match. I loved the finish. I loved the match itself was a lot of fun. With all these matches where there's too much grandstanding and selling for really long points that don't make sense, I just go like, go, just stop, go faster. It's sort of like having bad transitions in a musical. It's if you're waiting for the orchestra to actually start doing something, if you're waiting because the light didn't turn on yet, we're all just going to be sitting there waiting, looking at you. And that's just sort of what happens sometimes in wrestling, where it's like, I'm going to put my arms up like this and flex and point at the crowd and stuff, but my opponent is just going to be dead in the center of the ring, and now we're going to have to wait for it. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I did think that this match was a little long, but otherwise it was a great match. What did you think?
I was looking at the timestamp on it, and it appears about 21 minutes this match went, which is really long on a long show. We predicted this correctly. Mox got the win. My takeaway is absolutely the post-match with William, or henceforth known as Steven Regal for us, returning. It was just, man, it was great, and it leaves so many questions. Is this does this mean maybe William Regal is going to have a hand in ROH, which would make a lot of sense? Yeah, because William acting like I know him. Regal made them shake. Regal made them shake hands at the end of the match, or after the match, I should say. So I mean, this is great. This leads us wanting to watch Wednesday and watch Friday to see what exactly is going on here. The match itself, I was hoping for a little bit more. I don't know if I was just... I think this was actually the point in the card where I was starting to feel fatigued, Brad. So perhaps it's less about Mox and Danielson and more about me and my, I guess, stamina in watching this. But I think the placement on the card, I have a question about it. I don't know if this was the best placement for it.
Yeah,
but
match 10.
Yeah, match
if you count
10.
The pre-show.
It didn't hit for me. It didn't hit for me the way I thought it would. But a well-wrestled match, like you said, very violent, very snug. But it didn't... For me, frankly, it kind of stayed in that gear it was at. I said that about the women's match. This had an extra gear or two, I think, beyond Rosa and Britt. But for me, it never got to that next level where I would consider this maybe a match of the year. And going into the show, I thought this would definitely be in my early match of the year conversation or list. And it wasn't that for me. But we got a well-wrestled match. We got William Regal. And I'm going to be watching on Wednesday. Do we get a Danielson dojo? I don't know, because he's going to want that win back.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like this was half the match was trading blows. And it didn't need to be that. It needed to be part of the match. It certainly needed to be part of the match, but it didn't need to be all of the match. And it felt like the whole match was like, we're so evenly matched that the taller, bigger Jon Moxley can't get the win here. When they had that spot where they're holding each other's arms, kicking each other in the chest really hard. Yes. I was like, Mox just has to extend his leg, and then Danielson can't reach him.
Right.
Like,
I think commentary said Mox is 6'4". I don't know if that's a shoot, but
no way.
He is taller.
I mean, he's definitely taller. I know Danielson is listed as 5'10", which probably is true, but Mox is probably like 6'2". Maybe he's taller than that. I don't know, but his legs are a lot longer. I know that. Next, I got ahead of myself because I'm so tired. I'm starting to get dizzy. The next match was the 6-man tornado tag team match. Here's some takeaways I had. Sammy Guevara and Isaiah Cassidy are insane people. Sting is a madman. I called that an ARP splash onto the table. An AARP splash.
That was awesome. 62 years old, Brad.
Wasn't really a frog splash. It was like a face down crossbody because it didn't involve a lot of movement. It was just sort of like, I'm going to become a stick and go straight down, which ruled. But his face hit that table so hard, I was like, he's dead. He's got to be a dead man at this point. Darby hitting Jose with a trash can over his head.
I knew you popped for this spot as well. That was my second guaranteed Brad pop of the night. What did you think?
I was like, we're gonna get a Darby dive. I was telling our guests, it was like, you're gonna see at least one dive if you haven't seen a dive before. It's coming, and it happened like a minute into the match. It was like we immediately got a dive, but into a helpless Jose the assistant inside of a trash can. Darby looked great in this match. The corner coffin splashes, the Sting stuff with the trash cans. I would not want to take a hit from him. He is a big dude.
Yes.
Still,
yes, he is.
Absolutely frightening. Andrade looked great. Looked like a monster.
Yeah, he needs to get some wins ASAP.
Agreed. Cassidy always looks great. But here's my next thing. I'm gonna pass it to you. I didn't see the finish. I missed huge spots in the match. The screen froze. Next thing we knew, we were outside of the ring. So, it was this was the first match that I really missed most of, because of the buffering problems we were having, because Bleacher Report app sucks. Anyway, go ahead. Tell us your thoughts.
That's rough. The ending was rather odd. So Darby and Matt Hardy ended up back in the ring, and Darby hit the coffin drop 1, 2, 3, but Darby had to travel a pretty far distance, and Matt Hardy sort of was reaching away from an incoming Darby. It was as if Matt was sort of like reaching to his corner asking for help. So Darby basically missed Matt completely. Maybe his head hit Matt in Matt's torso, just barely. But if you go back and see this, Darby basically just coffin dropped onto the mat without hitting Matt Hardy. And then quickly pinned him 1, 2, 3. It was very strange. And the reaching Matt did, it stuck out to me. I did not have streaming issues at this point, so I caught it in its entirety. It was very strange. I agree. Other than that spot, Brad, Darby looked like a complete star. I loved the video package they played before his entrance. That was so cool. I guess in his free time, Darby is just driving what looked like a Ford Bronco, crashing a funeral for his opponents. And then Sting comes out and says it's showtime. It was just, we know Darby's a pretty artistic dude. This has to be my favorite short film vignette that we've ever seen from Darby. I really enjoyed this and thought it was just completely balls to the wall and necessary for this match. It was super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you caught that. The freezing did
saw
happen
that.
there.
I really liked it.
I really enjoyed it.
I don't know if I liked it better than the MJF one with the face and then burning the car.
Fair.
But I think I did. The funny thing is that he also missed his coffin drop there in that video package. He dropped into that dude.
When he jumped off and hit the dude. Yeah,
you could
that
see,
was awesome.
He totally goes by the guy and lands on the ground. Same deal.
The spot to pin Hardy was just, I don't think I've seen a coffin drop quite like that. I mean, he just missed him, but I don't want to put it on Matt Hardy because we love Matt Hardy, but his positioning just looked like it made Darby miss. Very odd. Regardless, Darby gets the pin. Cool. This probably leads to Matt Hardy leaving the AHFO and welcoming one Jeff Hardy in. So all is good there. The wildest spot I saw all night on this show, bar none, was the aforementioned,
I know what you're gonna say,
Sammy Guevara and Isaiah Cassidy. I have never seen a Spanish fly from the entrance structure onto a set of tables waiting for them. That was
table. They really only made it to the one.
As Sammy motioned, and I like that Tay Conti did that earlier in the night because we know they're an item. Absolutely crazy spot.
Yep.
I was a bit uncomfortable when they were setting this up, man. I know these guys are two pros, but my God, a Spanish fly onto that table, that was wild. This was exactly what it needed to be. I find that on AEW pay-per-views, the match before the main event seems to continuously be something that is just different and hopefully will pick the crowd up. Usually a match involving weapons and just constant action. I think at the last pay-per-view, Full Gear, we had the Minneapolis street fight, which was not our favorite, but that seems to be a consistent thread of matches that this was the proper placement, I think, is my very long point here. This was fun. We saw the Sting spot, the right team won, and it was fine for me. I'm glad everyone was safe, and hopefully everyone's okay after this match because there were some ridiculously impressive spots here.
Yeah, I totally agreed with everything you just said there. And it feels very much like a Blood and Guts, a Stadium Stampede, one of those matches that needs to have something that's nuts. We got to have that crazy match, whatever that may be.
Right. And during this match, I had a recollection that two of the participants, Sammy and Matt, have a history of these very brutal matches.
That's true.
Right?
I was talking about that because of the forklift.
Yeah, we saw the scary forklift spot at All Out. I forget the exact year. And then they had the Hardy compound match. And it just occurred to me late in the match, like, we've seen Sammy and Matt do wild shit on pay-per-view before. And this is another one that was a 13 minutes well spent as long as all the performers were were okay after.
That Hardy compound match, if viewers, listeners, you need to go find this. This was when Matt was still a babyface and he was broken Matt Hardy.
Full gear, I believe.
I think you're right.
Forklift was all out and then full gear. Because I was over your house for this match, for the Hardy compound.
Yeah, it was not broken Matt Hardy, but then he was broken Matt Hardy for this match. We had a bunch of cameos. Shane Helms was there. As the reporter was it who else? Gangrel was there, right? Yeah,
Gangrel. Yep, I knew you had it on the tip of your tongue.
I was like, who else was there? I couldn't remember who else was there. Which
Santana and Ortiz, Private Party.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the monster truck and lighting up, and then the drone projecting a hologram of Matt Hardy. And then there's the random stuff inside of his garage, the piano and all this stuff. That match was so much fun. It was so it was so stupid, but it was so much fun.
We didn't have Gimmick Infringement back then, but
nope.
It might not be controversial for me to say that may have been our match of the night on that pay-per-view. I remember that match eliciting the biggest pops from you and I.
Yeah, was that? Oh, Jesus, just nailed this table. I gotta sleep. I don't know what else was on that card. Was that the night that Darby won?
Yes, good memory. That was Darby beating Cody for TNT, Mox and Kingston.
I think for that. That was because you laughed at me.
Yes, yes, I did. I want to say it may have been the Bucks versus FTR as well on that show.
Oh man, that was a hell of a show if that's the case.
Yeah.
That's one of the best tag team matches ever.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, last match. This, my friend, was my match of the night. I did not have it going into it. I thought this was going to be a good match. I did not think it would surpass Moxley and Danielson. Hell, I didn't think it would surpass CM Punk and MJF or even Britt and Rosa. But here we are, match of the night, in the right spot on the card, the main event. Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole. The pacing was incredible for this match. This was the shortest 25-minute match I've seen in a long time because CM Punk MJF, looking at the timestamps, was 15 seconds longer than the main event. And tell me that those two matches feel miles apart in terms of length. Yeah. It's just... This match was loaded. It's a
fantastic point. I agree.
It was an unbelievably paced match. Adam Page did this. I don't know if it has a name, but it was this. They were showing the highlights at the end, and they didn't show that avalanche. I don't know that kind of suplex he did. That was like an avalanche Hurricane Rana or no, avalanche moonsault Samoan drop thing.
Yeah, when he busts that out on these pay-per-views every time, it's impressive.
It's just
every time.
That should just be the end forever. Like do that and don't never get up.
Or when Adam Cole delivers 3 Panama Sunrises. This was a critique I had is we saw a lot of Canadian Destroyer, Panama Sunrises, whatever you prefer to call it on the show,
and Dead Eyes or Air Raid crashes.
Yes, Brad.
So many.
I long for the days when that was a finisher. I can think of the first time I saw a Canadian Destroyer from P.D. Williams in TNA. And how does that not kill someone? It's an issue I'm having. And I sound like an old head now. But you're exactly right, man. The pacing of this was awesome. This match is my match of the night. Honorable mention, the ladder match. And then the tag comes third in this case. I'm actually in
total agreement with you on these. Yeah, that's my order. Yeah.
But when we started this pod nearly 90 minutes ago, I somehow forgot about this title match. This is another one that's hiding in plain sight. You have 2 of the best workers in the company in the world headlining this card, and they delivered. This I didn't mean to stop you when you were right in the thick of your response to this, but I just wanted to agree with you, man. This really delivered, and I think there was some criticism in the community or worry about, is Hangman Page really that dude in the ring? We know he has the buzz. He has this underdog character. But can he deliver? And my God, he's exceeded expectations, has he not?
Vastly. I didn't know what to expect. I always liked him, and I think most people, and you and I included, have had this conversation. And I don't want to speak for you here, but like, we knew he would take it off of Kenny. It was a story they built for over a year. It needed to happen. I didn't know what his run was going to be like, because his run just needed to be him beating Kenny. So I just figured it would be short. And now I'm like, this dude needs to be champ for a while. He's killing everybody. He beat Archer in a great match. That match was probably Lance's best match to date in AEW. I know he had that great one with Moxley, but I felt like the Hangman one was better. The Danielson matches, classics, all-timers.
Yeah, they'll be on the match of the year list. Absolutely.
100%. And then we get this, and what am I forgetting with Hangman? I can't even remember. Didn't he have another one? Or was it just those?
No, the Danielson, Archer.
Half an hour,
tonight,
Archer.
Yeah, tonight stands up, I think, with both of those, absolutely.
Agreed.
That might be it, frankly. It feels like more, but I think that's it thus far.
4.
I mean, he only won it in November.
Yeah, 4 title defenses in about
Since
4
then,
months. Yeah, so
right.
one a
Makes
month.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all been really good. And
that backwards Samoan avalanche. I'm just thinking about that spot you mentioned. He's just hitting on. He's just firing on all cylinders. He's at the top of his game right now.
Yeah, and so was Adam Cole. Like,
yes, over. He is over
with
that crowd. They were booing Hangman.
I know.
What was that about?
Wild.
Adam Cole is a despicable heel. Yeah,
but I think
these guys are so over.
But I also what I loved about the chant, the crowd chant. Did you hear it? Did you catch it?
Yes. Yeah. They love both Adams.
Yeah.
Let's go, Adam. Adam sucks.
No.
Right?
No. They were chanting, "This is awesome," but they were not saying awesome. They were going, "This is Adam."
And this is Adam. Yeah.
This is Adam.
Yeah, they had a lot of chants. Yeah.
Yeah. They had the Adam back and forth. That's pretty standard. Yeah. But the "This is Adam" made me really happy. I was like, "That's so cool." They're just chanting for Adams because they love both of them. They're both so great. I think Hangman's theme is underrated.
Yes.
By a lot. When that music starts playing, my goodness, his return. It's
one of your favorites. Yeah, it's one of your favorite moments.
In
company history, probably.
Yes, just that pop was huge.
It was
just
deserved.
It was just a sustained roar until he won, which was incredible. So yeah, I love me some Hangman. It's not Adam Cole's entrance, though. I wouldn't know it, though. As I missed it, thanks, Bleacher Report. I think that's where we should end, Tyler.
Yeah, I agree, Brad. I can't believe we've already gone 90 just talking about this show. But, man, what a day it was. Revolution 2022 is in the books, and we have a lot to look forward to this week.
I agree. I think we should end the same way we came in. And that is as Small Town USA podcast.
I love it, Brad. Do we want to put out a plug for some important business dropping on the Gimmick Infringement website this week?
Yes, but I think you are more apt to say it. You're more equipped. I'm running on fumes, man. I'm hardly clinging to a thought right now. I'm looking at this. I'm going to edit this. Oh. I don't know. You are a virtuoso, my friend. Final word. So, listeners, if you're still with us, listening, watching, maybe both, thank you for your support. The likes, the subscriptions, the comments, the shares, it means the world to us. This week is a big week for the site, gimmickinfringementpod.com. Brad and I will both have pieces posted. Brad is writing a very personal piece about a wrestler from years past who has had a big impact on his father's life and thus on Brad's life, Sailor Art Thomas. Encourage you to check it out. I will also have a piece that is similarly personal, but it is comparing The Bachelor
to wrestling. I titled it, "If you like wrestling, you may love The Bachelor." It's a big week on The Bachelor, so I hope you will consider reading that as well. Again, that's gimmickinfringementpod.com. On Twitter, you can find us. Brad is at Winduster. I am at Tyler J. McDowell. And we hope you and yours are well. Thank you for your support of this pod, as we said. And we hope to see you next week for another episode.
At the
you got
time
any final
of this,
words, Brad?
Yeah, at the time of this recording,
Let's go.
And at the time of this last night, the articles are up on the website.
Nice.
Both of them are available. So if you're still with us, please go there, check them out.
There it is.
Yeah. We're trying to give you the content as much as we possibly can within a reason, within whatever our minds will let us do, without slipping quickly but gently into madness.
You are the man, my friend. I appreciate you. Audience, you heard it here first. You don't have to wait at all. The articles are posted online, and you should check them out. Let us know what you think. Finally, please be sure to follow the team of 19 Media Group. You can check out their work, at 19M Group on Twitter or 19mediagroup.com. Follow the team, support the team, and like we said, we wish you all a great week, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.